With this background, let's try and understand the merger thesis, ambition versus the financial viability of the entire merger. Now, when the Saks Neiman Marcus merger was announced, the strategic rationale appeared compelling on paper. Consolidate two of America's most prestigious luxury retailers to create a juggernaut capable of competing more effectively against the direct to consumer brands and e commerce platforms. The combined entity would theoretically benefit from the operational synergies, shared infrastructure, and enhanced bargaining power with the vendors. However, the deal's financial architecture tells a very different story. The approximately $2.7 billion acquisition resulted in a combined debt load of roughly $4.7 billion, a burden that has proven exceptionally difficult to service, particularly in the softening luxury market. The company's sales for the quarter ended August 2nd fell more than 13% year on year to $1.6 billion, with net losses widening to $288 million. Now, this situation exemplifies a recurring challenge in the corporate merger and acquisition landscape: the gap between strategic vision and financial execution. While consolidation strategies can deliver long term value, they require careful stress testing against various market scenarios. In this case, the debt structure appears to have assumed more favorable conditions than which have materialized. With this, now let's look into the structural challenges that are being faced by the multi brand retail store model. Beyond the specific financial dynamics of this particular merger, the Saks global situation reflects deeper structural challenges facing the multi brand departmental store model. The sector has faced persistent headwinds since the rise of single brand retail in 1980s, followed by the e commerce disruption of the 2000s. The traditional wholesale model that underpins the departmental store operations creates inherent cash flow challenges. Retailers must pay for the inventory before selling it while simultaneously maintaining expensive real estate footprints and staffing levels. So, when the sales decline, this model can quickly become unsustainable, particularly when overlaid with significant acquisition debt. The recent developments also illustrate the company's efforts to manage liquidity, from reportedly selling the land beneath its landmark locations to explorations of selling 49% stake in Bergdorf Goodman. While such asset sales can provide short term relief, they also represent a reduction in the company's long term strategic flexibility.